Hey, we will go live in just 1 second. I'm going to pop this in a couple places. I know we've got a couple people watching out there. Give me just a couple more minutes. If you have the chance, go ahead and share this in an RPG community you love or on social media. And we're going to explore some killer projects in just 1 second. All right, we are live here for day 3 of Zinequesting. My name is Tony Vasinda. I'm the Chief Alchemist here at Plus One Exp. Sorry it took a little bit longer to get it up and going today. I was trying to share it out on Facebook to a couple of the groups we normally put it in. We couldn't. If you're out there watching and you know our Facebook page, Plus One Exp, I think James had commented on it. If you could share it to the RPG Zine group, because I know they kind of love it. I mean, they may not, but they watch it and they get excited and they comment. Also, if you haven't had a chance to share it yet, let people know. We're going to go through 8 to 12 projects here live on screen. I'm going to talk about what I love about them. I'm going to ask some questions. We're going to talk about them. If you have a question, if you have a project you want me to showcase, tell me about it. I'll try to get it up on the screen. I pulled up some that people told me about earlier. I may not have all of them up there. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I don't. But if you're watching live, go ahead and let other people know about this. It's a great way to promote Zinequest projects. You know, another great way to promote Zinequest projects, $28, 28 days. $28, 28 days is an initiative that we're just championing. It's an idea I had. I popped it out in some groups. I know other people are doing it also. But it's basically the concept of backing 28 projects over the 28 days of February, each for $1 a piece, sharing the fact that you backed them on social media. It does a lot for those creators. Those creators really appreciate not only the dollar, but also the share, the increase in reach, and the fact that the people who follow you on Kickstarter, even if that's only one person or no people, will start to find out about those projects also. It helps juice them up in the algorithm. But again, if you haven't had it, if you have the opportunity to share this, since my internet's not trying to work with me, I would really appreciate that, especially if somebody could drop it in the RPG Zine group and let me know you did that, because I just don't want them to miss out. And that's how a lot of you guys found us. We're a simple little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. We're trying to do as comprehensive coverage of Zinequest as we can because Zinequest, it deserves that. It's a phenomenal experience where hundreds of games are going to launch right now, about 200 at most recent count, and I'm just super thrilled to be able to share some of the ones that I love with you guys. I've got 8 to 12 projects lined up. We're going to look at them. We're going to chat about them. A couple of things that I look for when talking about projects. Do you give me flavor right off the bat? Like, do you show me something about what's great about your game? Do you tell me quickly what the project is specifically and concretely? And from that, it's really about what I like. I'm going to back some of these games, some of them for a full price, some of them for a premium level, some for $1, and some I'm just going to save or I'm not going to be interested in. That's not a sign that it's not a good game. It just means it's not a game that I am interested in backing. It's been a great day with a lot of really great conversations about when and why and how we back different zines. I'll share some of those with you guys maybe a little bit towards the end of the stream. These are the most recently launched projects on Kickstarter. Some of those are ones we're going to cover. Some of them aren't. You get this by putting in the Zinequest tag and just hitting newest across all categories. But we're going to start out with one that a couple that I'm super excited about. The first is going to be Tomb of Immolation. I got to play this on a live stream a little while ago. I have a review of this, a 4-minute review that's dropping at the end of this. It is by Michael Harmon. Michael is the artist and overall visionary for the project. He has a team member who helped him create the actual adventure. But you are going down into this tomb that's recently been unearthed. And you are exploring it. It's great for systems like Sword and Wizardry, OSE, or it's got support for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, which is what Michael piloted it in. There's a necromancer involved. This is I think this is an ash zombie, which is one of the main creatures you're fighting in it. But it's also it's to the front cover. 70 pages, so a big zine, designed for 5th level characters, so established characters. But let's look at some of this art. Michael uses a few different styles, but a really consistent color palette here. Helps draw your eye through the entire campaign. Right, but he's got some of these strong black and white images. There's the cover shot, right? But again, every little bit, he's got something that draws your eyes down. Light text, really phenomenal game. We are going to be backing these. Look at this. He's got a hardship backer level. So a lot of people will create community copies on like itch or other places like that. He's also got like, if you just want this and you don't have money, back it at this level. I think a lot of Zinequest creators should consider that. People tend to only use it if they need to. I think that's great. Digital copy, the Fire Salamander. This is a low price point for a 70-page zine. I'm really impressed. Let's see, digital, so it's print on demand and digital. So if you don't want to pay for shipping, you can do POD. A special hardcover edition, and we've got the Immolation Mummy Ultimate Backer, special hardcover edition, physical copy of Tomb of Immolation. It's very cool. I think we're going to come in at the $12 level, but we're going to have a couple copies of this game to give away later. And like I said, we did that review. So we'll come back and finish that up later. Let me know what projects you're interested in covering. Thank you, Hypersigil Games, for making sure that it got over there. I appreciate that, Jared. And then we've got All Must Bow. This is one of my top 10 most anticipated games. It was their first game on Kickstarter. It's their first project that the studio has created, Bleak Horizons Press. I've not watched their video yet. You guys want to watch the video? Let's watch the video. 48 seconds. I think we can do the whole thing.
We have always assumed that nothing lived in the vast emptiness beyond our world. But the last time the moons were in conjunction, I saw something. Saw it moving there in the cold dark. I told the others, and they shunned me. But I've built my own instruments, and now I can see it clearly.
You're doing a lot with two-dimensional layering here that's really cool.
Tells me that the great void is squirming with life, that it welcomes me, that its secrets can be mine. If only I will bow.
Awesome. Short, great, 48 seconds long. If you can get a phenomenal video that's 30 seconds, I'm a fan. You can take up to 3 minutes. For me, I'll still watch the video. A lot of people will only watch about 1.5 minutes of video max, so 2 minutes is kind of considered the longest you want to go. But I love the feel. So this is a system agnostic setting of cosmic horror. So in lots of games, we play people fighting existential, eldritch evil, its forces and its champions, and All Must Bow. You play and create those evil people, their forces, and their champion It's a really cool process. We are going to do a stream of me getting to play this with the creators. Sometime I think next month. It'll just be the three of us hopping on a stream to do it. I'm really excited about this. I think this is a phenomenal world building element to drop into any game. Also, if you got what is it, Vast of the Dark, I think these two pieces together, Almost Bow plus Vast of the Dark, could totally ramp up the level of cosmic horror you're able to put into a game in just some really, really smart ways. Inspired by 80s and 90s horror. Yeah, and also you're just not pulling off like, Cthulhu, which if you're doing that's fine, or whatever other Eldritch Evil. You're able to create your own unique one for your players, and even doing this with your players. So they have a little bit of a input into it. It's a really cool community generated process. They went straight black and white for their zine. We've got a couple pages of layout here, but look at this art. And like I said on the video, they were doing some really cool 2D dimensional layering stuff. There's some very cool basic stuff you can do with just images. Our Kickstarter video is just going to be image work for our game. By the way, if you haven't yet, check out Repugnant RPG at ttrpg.link/grossrpg. That's launched on the 15th. It's John DeCampos and mine's game. Anyways, we were already all in on this. This is one of my top 10 anticipated. Print copy. Oh, these were, I could have gotten cooler things had I moved on this more quickly. All right, well, we're just going to be in at this level then. Bounty Hunters. This one came as a recommendation from the people in the RPG Zines group. I'm going to hop to it in just 1 second after I read the statement from Josh. Josh recommends looking at the Thawing Kingdom. It's a cool premise, but the real draw is a supplement that's part of the top tier. Turns the module into a Dark Souls style boss fight. So Josh, can you drop me a link to that so I can just cut and paste it, and I'll take a look at it at the end. If you can drop me a link into the chat on YouTube there. So Bounty Hunters. This one came as a recommendation. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but let's take a look at the video. We'll see how long it is and see if we're going to watch the whole thing. Minute and 29. We'll see if we make it through the whole thing.
Figaro.
Who's asking?
I am.
Yeah? And who are you? I ain't Daguerre, alright? You got the wrong guy.
I don't think so.
You know what I think?
I don't care.
I think you should die!
I like the energy in this, and I like what they're trying to do. I am going to provide a critique in just a second.
Bounty Hunter TTRPG. It's a fast-paced, no dice, no math light TTRPG system designed by award-winning game master Guy Sklanders from the popular YouTube series How to Be a Great GM.
I watch Guy videos a lot.
Included in this custom-written rule set is a quick and easy character creation process, which generates a backstory for the character as...
Okay, we're not going to watch the rest because I'm going to get a lot of that on the scroll, I guarantee you. Also, here's my thing. That was a good video, except... what they're trying to do with the pacing there, where they draw out the anxiety of the tenseness of the moment, works well thematically, but there's nothing that's actually pulling me in right away, so it just feels like it's dragging in those first 10 seconds, which may mean I just stop watching. And so I would say my only change would have been backtracking. I would have changed that backtrack to more of a classic bounty hunter theme. I might have even pulled in like more of a Star Wars feel. Obviously you can't use the Cantina music, but I might have done that. But Guy creates phenomenal stuff. I didn't realize this was Guy's project. I love his videos. I think he's got an incredibly smart way about the way he runs games. I learn stuff all the time when I watch him, or even if I like already do some of this stuff, it gives me language for it, which I love. So we are going to back this. I just don't know what level, and I do want to spend more time than we're going to have on stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click follow for right now. And I'm going to come back and check this out later on when I have a little bit more time. Splat 2, this again came from a recommendation. People were really excited. They loved Splat 1. I didn't check out Splat 1. And so it is a zine focused on role-playing games and what it means to play them, make them, interact with them in digital spaces. It includes contributions from 7 talented writers who are looking to share their relationship to games, the internet, and our current times. Okay, so this is just it's about RPGs. So there's no thematic here, right? It's jumping straight into here's what we are. And they did one last year, which I'm gonna open up in another tab and we'll come back to later because I do want to check that out. We've got some anthologies here and some names I recognize, some people I really like. Sam's created a couple already. Man, this looks really good, and I love this type of concept. Just like Nerves, which I talked about the other day, I think these type of projects need to get supported. I want to see if there's an option for 2-in-1. There's 2-in-1 PDFs across the board. For $20, I can get everything in print. That's the level we're going to go in at because I want to get the first two. I will come back and look at this more. Here's a little bit more on their last project. Oh, I do remember this. Did I back this? I thought I maybe backed this at the very end. I should go back and look at it. Here's another one that we saw from a member of the RPG Zines group and was recommended to their by them. This is a setting, what I would say is a setting, establishment, and encounter guide. Basically, over the course of this entire set of 5 zines, you're going to get 500 unique areas with 500 special encounters in 5 different flavors, which are laid out right here: mundane, grim, fairy, holy, primeval. And I meant to check out Dungeoneer the other day. I'm a big fan of the new minimalist OSR attempts. This feels like it's a really solid thing. I also love this double direction design. We'll go in one direction, it's one set of things. Going the other direction, it's another set. The full spread out makes the entire book. That's a really great design choice. They kept in the one color feel of it. They're doing an interactive, well indexed PDF, which is something somebody talked about the other day. And here's what in each zine, you're going to get 10 areas of a bunch of different types and encounters of a bunch of different types that you can work together. I think if you're a minimalist or even a maximalist OSR person who wants to build your own stuff, this is a really solid project to launch. I don't know if I would back this at the physical level, though it's very beautiful and I really want to. Giuseppe did a really, really good job here. I'm going to click Remind Me because I want to come back and look some more. This one we've already talked about, but I want to talk to you guys about it again because it's not doing as well as I think it should. So here's what I need you guys to do. If you're watching right now on stream, I want you to commit to me in the chat, whatever you're watching on right now, if you have the ability, to sharing this game if you don't back it. I would love for you to go back this game if you hadn't. I mispronounced it last time. I'm sure I'm going to mispronounce it again. It's Oubliette, I would know. Oubliette, Cubliette. One of those things. I got it in one of those. It is a system agnostic, it is a genre agnostic game. It's a minimalist game. It's GM optional, 3 to 4 players. You build it with a deck of cards. The suit of cards your hero is assigned establishes what they are. You decide what genre you're playing in, and you tell a story around that. Again, there's 4 archetypes: the Wastrel, the Steadfast, the Omen, the Martyr. This is a very simple campaign. It is a very good campaign. I really want people to go and back this campaign, like right now. If you don't back this campaign, please do me a favor and share this campaign with other people. I think this project should have funded right away, and it hasn't. I featured it the other day. I'm going to feature it probably completely until it funds, and I'm not trying to bully you guys into backing what I want. This is a really phenomenal project. This is a well-established designer. Like, this is a designer that has a good reputation in the community, should absolutely be being supported. I would really appreciate it if you guys would go check out the project. I cannot pronounce it, but I would like you to go check it out and share it. So just write it down somewhere, search it in Kickstarter right now. I don't want to bully you guys, and I won't most of the time, but I want you to go back to this project. All right, Thursday. So this one was on my list to cover no matter what. It's very smart. It released on Groundhog's Day. Maybe I did already cover it, but I don't think I did. Did I already cover Thursday? People who have watched me all day week long. I don't know. Maybe we're doing some rehashing. It's been a week, but it's a Groundhog's Day. I think I did. It's fine. We're going to talk about it again. It's a Groundhog's Day style experience, like Russian Doll and a lot of other things where you go around and around and around and again until you get things right. It's a communal storytelling game. Eli is a phenomenal designer. I did already talk about this game, so that's just 2 games in a row I already talked about. Oh, somebody said the screen just froze up. Let me know out there if the screen froze up and on everybody. Journeylands. So we've got Journeylands up next. I know I have not talked about Journeylands yet. Journeylands has funded, but I would love to see Journeylands get more love. It's a very, very simple project. It's had a very low funding goal, $151. It is the creators have created a couple times, but look at this art. All right, so this is an adventure game e-zine, so it's no physical, just digital. Road tripping beneath a psychic sun for solo or group play. I love it. I love this art. Like, I love the suggestive reality of what this art is telling me about the world I'm going to get to play in. It feels a little bit Mad Max, but it feels adorable, but adorable with machine guns. And I think adorable with machine guns deserves to be rewarded. And so, like, you know, I want people to go check out Journeylands. It's the year 3000 XX. We've got some sort of sky jellyfish here. It's very simple images, but again, it's always pulling me down. I backed Butchery last year. It was very good. And it's just a really cool travel game. I love the idea of travelogue games. And I love that we're getting to see more of them. Like, it's an unexpected theme this year in Zinequest, and I'm really appreciating getting to see more and more travelogue games pop up, because I think they're blast. And it's actually, I think it's just a hole that we see in a lot of other games, that people are like, I wish there was more enjoyable travel mechanics. And so people have gone and made games around travel mechanics. And I think you should get them, and I think you should back them, and I think you should figure out how to incorporate them into your games. Yeah. All right. Another one I've been super excited about. I got to play it last Saturday. I'll have a review dropping for it later on this week. It's Through Old Tan's Door. And it started out with a goal of $2,500. Just a pretty ambitious first time on Kickstarter goal, except for this is the third installation of Through Old Tan's Door. Through Old Tan's Door is a much beloved project. Like, it's the first two sold out. There was no intent to be false scarcity, but there has been scarcity of the ability to get these projects. Ben writes has written a phenomenal study, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. Let's click on this video first. I want to talk about why I think it's doing so well for a couple reasons. And I want to compare that to what Mousehole Games, the people who do Artifact and a couple other games, do in just a minute also too. So,
Through Old Tan's Door is a tabletop role-playing game zine that presents adventures set in a world of sparkling peril. Each lavishly illustrated issue takes you to Zion, a cursed flying city of the Dreamlands. Within their pages you will find tools to include the Dreamlands in your existing campaigns, or make them the basis of an entire campaign exploring wondrous and deadly locales beyond the Veil of Sleep. Issue 3 is a double issue, taking you down the Great Sewer River,
it's all got this
point
beautiful
crawl that
Art
winds
Nouveau
through the undercity of Zion.
feel to it.
There are rules for transit and phantasmagorical
Look at the layout
encounters,
on that, just like those pages
as well
we
as
just saw. Look
7
at the
new
layout on that.
locations for adventure. Beneath the Moss Courts is a third zine that expands one of these locations, the Wreck of the Verdant Purveyor, into a full adventure. Step through Altan's Door and play an opium dreamer who travels to Zion through drug-induced reveries. Or learn...
All right, we're going to pause. I'm sure the rest of the video is great, but I do want, like, look at this art. Like, Ben, even on his page, I gave him a little bit of feedback on it, but he does exactly what it is at the top. It is hard, I think, to convey the depth of what makes this game great. I've obviously already pledged, so we don't have to worry about that. I pledged it the highest level so that I could get the first, the second, and the current 2 zines. We will have copies of this to give away in the future, but go back it now to make sure you get a copy. But just it's gorgeous. Like, look at this, and it pulls on these original ones so much. But originally it was this door that appeared in a merchant's shop and people could walk through it. Now in this third one, they explore how to get to the Dreamland without the use of the door. It's just exploring these sewer kingdoms. So there are reprints. Yeah, if you didn't get the first 2, you can, like, I got all of the zines. I got all of the zines, digital and physical, for this one. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got the second installation of 3. You can get everything. It's the time to jump in on this. But you're playing in the sewers of the dream world, like, which is where the first 2 were also set. Like, you actually go past some of those locations. It's a point crawl setting. There's an adventure in that point crawl setting. It is gorgeous, and it is the ethereal quality of a dreamland, but the sewers of that place. So you find these amazing, beautiful, wondrous things, but they're the sewer way of doing it. It's just great. And here's the thing. Here's what I know. I already know a little bit about what's going to come out in Through Old Tan's Door 4 because Ben told me about it. Here's what else I know. There are probably dozens, potentially, of Through Old Tan's Doors that he could lay out in the future if he never gets to a big book print. We can think about this as an ongoing anthology where we're going to be able to explore the Dreamland. And so now is the time to get the first few if you can't. but that's not why Ben is doing so well. It's not why Ben has the $22,000 worth of backing that he has on the second day of his campaign. Now, if we know basic Kickstarter trends, we know that he'll raise about 30 to 40% of the funds in the first 48 hours of a campaign. You'll raise another 30 to 40% in the last 48 hours of a campaign, and you'll raise everything else that you're going to raise in the in-between. It's a little bit different with 2-week campaigns, but those numbers still hold pretty precisely. So he'll get potentially triple this amount by the end of the project, which would make him the highest funded project in the history of Zinequest that is an actual zine and not a 4-color backbook that just ended up with the Zinequest label. But the first actual zine, the highest funding actual zine. This one and Mousehole Press, which just did Artifact last year and currently holds that record, they both create beautiful projects. Like, they both tell you in their display about the paper they're using. He's using French Paper Co. paper, and it's this thick, creamy, rich quality paper. He hand assembled the first 2 runs of them. He's working with partners now to do all that, a print company, but he bought a pallet of this paper to give to this print company because it's what he wants his zine printed on. The inside of the zines open up, and the interior is the map that you're going to use for that. So you've got the outside cover, you open it up, the map's on the interior, so you deconstruct the backing, and then there's a beautiful interior cover also, which we're going to rip off for Repugnant later on this Kickstarter, because I think it's a great idea. It's something old zines used to do, but it is a creator who is in love with the game that they made. And I think we all love the games that we make for the most part, but there's a level of care and concern here and what Mousehole does and what some of the other creators we see out there starting to do that says something different about the type of creation they've made and what they love doing. So again, I hope, like I earlier today was like, Zinequest isn't a competition, but we all do look at the numbers, which we'll talk about in just one moment also too. We all look at the numbers, and I hope Ben wins Zinequest. Like, I hope Ben wins Zinequest. I hope that Ben gets $60,000 to $80,000 for this game. Here is why. I want Through Eltain's Door in 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and I want him to have plenty of roadmap to be able to do that, because he has made a great setting and great projects, and the zine format like slaps for it. Like, it is such a great format for him to be releasing it in. So I would, again, highly encourage you to check it out. We're going to look at Old Roads, which is just launched last night. It's already funded. I follow the guy who did it on Twitter. I'm not going to play the video right now because there's something else I want to talk about a little bit at the end. Hand-drawn black and white isometric maps. It's just maps. They're all double page. Like, they're not just single page, right? You open them up, it'll be a spread map for you to use. They're this classic isometric style. I want to commission this guy to do some work. He's actually got a level at which you can commission a map when you get from him. He's got these embedded videos. This is actually very cool. So at a certain level, secret map, there's 13 of them left, which I can't believe. Maybe there's not. I'm actually going to have to refresh this page and see. But you can see there's a special blacklight reactive map, and he'll custom do these like special maps for you that you can solve these clues on. Let's see if there's any of those left. I'm going to refresh because I can't believe that there's only 2 of those gone. Oh, there's 12 left. So there still are some of them. I'm going to pull something up from Kickstarter real quick, but I think this is a great project. If you like maps, if you're looking for maps from your campaign, I think this looks really cool. If he gets to the $2,500 level, he's going to add in adventure hooks and then create a territory map that kind of places all of these in a world together. I want to hop over here on my other thing. I want to hop on Twitter. I'm going to look up at Panda Atheist. There is somebody who I follow on Twitter who's over in Pittsburgh. They do the Bone Box Chant. They are doing some of the best data crunching on Zinequest 2 right now. I want to show you guys that data. And it's not going to be up to date to the minute. I mean, they have a life. But let's take a look at that real quick. This is like super insidery stuff. If you're not a numbers nerd, if you're not a Zinequest if you're here with me, you probably are. I'm sorry. Like, you're probably into this stuff if you're here with me in the middle of the afternoon. And again, if you haven't followed us on YouTube or wherever, please do, so you know when we go live. We'll be doing it most days. I won't be doing it one day in the next little bit because I've got to drive all of my zines out to my fulfillment center to get them there so they're ready to go out. But Panda Atheist is tracking the Zinequest data, the most backed by numbers and by dollars. I don't know how often they're updating it, and I don't want to create any expectations on this. They certainly haven't done it today because of where some of these numbers are at. Because I don't see Through Old Tan's Door higher on that list. Oh, this is by backers, actually. I guess it could be up to date. Let's see. Vast in the Dark is leading the top as far as backers go. These are the top 10 backed in the current Zinequest, and then we go through by dollar. So this is not quite up to date. It looks like it's yesterday's data, but it's a fairly regularly updated list. But it's also, here's the other thing, it's got every zine on Zinequest that has been reported with the tag listed here, right? And they're in alphabetical order, which I think is great. I mean, all of these are going to have a little bit of a problem, but I think it's phenomenal. Like the reality is, I would love to see more. Where'd my zine go? Oh, no, that's currently live, right? And then, we'll go through, and we've got Repugnant right here. This is us, right? But it's a great resource if you're into the numbers. Follow Panda Atheist on Twitter. Check out their boneboxchant.wordpress.com site. Click on the Zinequest tab. You can see the numbers from that day. You also just go to Zinequest. Like we said, always, you can go to the Zinequest Discovery page. Just look. You can set it by most backed, but it's going to pull up everything from Zinequest ever. So here are previous features of ones that were backed. So if you want just Zinequest 2, you're going to want to do that. So those are the ones we've done today. Did anybody ever drop me that link? I know Josh had talked about Thawing Kingdom, but no, I didn't get a link. I'm super excited. I've had a really great time. Again, if you guys have projects you want me to cover, we'll be doing this every day, trying to keep it around 30 minutes, just talking about different zines that we are excited to backing some of them live, saving other ones. Sometimes we got to go back and do a little more. Sometimes I can't wait and I back them ahead of time and just tell you guys about them later. I'm about to go through and we're going to drop our Tomb of Immolation review video. It actually probably has already dropped, but I got to go through and update all the notes below it so it actually links that to the campaign. I think Michael was watching earlier. Michael, so look for that so you can share it out. If you haven't backed Tomb of Immolation yet, I would highly encourage you to if you're into OSR or Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to be looking for projects for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be back at 3 o'clock, the same time we've been doing it so far. If you guys have questions about any of the zines we're covering, if there's certain things you want me to be able to talk about, let me know. I'm always happy to talk about them. This really is meant to be kind of fairly comprehensive conversations about what's coming up on Zinequest right now and encouraging you guys to back things. Again, I'm not going to bully you, but I am going to remind you again, I would love people to go back this game specifically. It hasn't gone up the entire time we've been on here. I guess I haven't backed it yet either. Let's do it. Let's make it happen right now. I meant to do it the other day. Jack of Hearts. What did I want to do? I wanted to do digital on this. I believe. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go physical. Just because, like, I want you guys to know, like, I'm into this. So we're going to make sure we hit this back. I don't want you guys to see all my credit card information. But I think this looks like a really smart card-based RPG open source system. Even if you're not into general systems or system agnostic stuff, I love the way that they have described the 4 different character archetypes: the Wastrel, the Steadfast, the Omen, and the Martyr. Like, those are interesting character archetypes to play for me in any genre, which is why I think this game is going to not only be smartly designed, but incredibly well done. Here's a couple things to think about that I've been talking about to people over the course of the day. I would love to know you guys' thoughts on it also too. Had a lot of conversations today about how I cover representative games. When I say representative games, I mean games that are designed for about a certain community of people that is defined and distinct that I am not particularly a part of. Genre-wide, that might be things like Afropunk, right? So an Afropunk setting, how would I cover that? There's a great Native American RPG coming up, Coyote and Crow, that I'm very excited about, that we are going to be covering. And you know, how we do good representation when we talk about games for things that embrace a certain mindset that we're not a part of. And I want you guys to think about that. I'd love to have some more conversations about that as we go. We're actually going to be talking to a designer who just designed a trans anthology of games. We're going to do a prestige class with him in the next couple of weeks. because I think it's an important conversation to have. And it's a conversation that sometimes I struggle with. How do we have that conversation well? And it's not looking to be woke or to bring politics into a conversation about TTRPGs. In the average TTRPG, it's up to the GM and the players to decide how they deal with that any stuff. But when a piece of art or game or play has been created to express something specific, I like to honor that. I don't play OSC stuff and then just inject modern rules into it. I don't play story light things and ignore the underpinnings of how that story is supposed to be told. I want to honor the creator's intent when I play a game. And if I don't want to do that, I'll just play a game that's generic and broader that I can work anything into. But if I'm going to sit down with a game that has a certain representative reality, I want to embrace that, because that's why I want to play that game. I want to play that game to understand and explore that idea. So I'm working through that, is what I'm saying. And Zinequest is a time of year where I get to be exposed to all kinds of games that have a different design ethos than I have, because we see more games hit the market than any other time of year. And we got to talk about that. Like, we got to talk about that. We got to have good conversations about that. And here's the thing. We don't all have to agree about it, but we do need to have the conversation. Like, we owe that to ourselves and to each other. And so sometime later on this month, that's going to happen. But if there's a certain game that you have that you're looking at that you're like, I just don't know if this game is for me, but I want to know more about it. Again, I want to remind you, that's what $28, 28 days is all about. Back that creator. Add $1, let them know that you want to support their game, even if you don't want a physical copy of it, that you like the fact that they're creating games, that you want to make this a space that's welcoming to first-time and diverse creators, or just somebody who's created a game that looks good to you but you don't know about, just to support them. Share it online using social media with $28, 28 days. Help lift them up. It means a lot. If we funded our game Repugnant with just 1,000, because that's going to be our funding goal, 1,000 $1 backers, I mean, that'd be awesome, because I wouldn't have to print any games. I could just keep all the money. No, we would be able to print the games and then share them with other people, right? That's not what I hope, because I don't create games so that they don't get played. I create games because I want them to get played. So I hope that's not the case. But if that was the case, I would still love that 1,000 people believed in us well enough to invest $1 into what we were doing, into helping make Repugnant happen. I think most creators feel the same way. So again, I would encourage you guys to think about that, to toss that out. I am looking forward to more of this. I just want to have good conversations about amazing games. And so let me know tomorrow if there's certain games that you want me to cover. I'll be posting up earlier in the day. I've been doing it about an hour before, but that hasn't given us enough time. But if I do it too earlier in the day, then people miss it. So it'll probably go up around noontime tomorrow. I'll ask for more submissions for what we should cover. Sometimes I remember them. Sometimes I'm not able to get to them because I forget, or because I'm pulling it from 3 or 4 different sources. But thank you guys so much for joining me this afternoon. And we're going to jam out at the end with a little bit more of Philip Reed's soundtrack from Tower of Scoundrels, which is his project. It's halfway through. It's funded. It's not a Zinequest project because he's making a record, but that's what we're going to be listening to. We're going to be listening to Side A. It's a phenomenal adventure. And I'm just going to hang out. If you've got questions, type them in the chat, and we'll chit-chat a little bit about things. Anything Kickstarter, design, or Zinequest related. Here's that bop. Hero wants to know, how do you convince your wife to let you grow an epic beard like mine? Great question. Two answers. One, I'm a very good kisser. This doesn't help you. It is part of the reason my wife still doesn't care about how long it gets. Actually, my wife would love if I would just go do, normally the world is normal. This is like rolled up. Lots of times on stream it is. She would like me to do the mustache or the long beard, not both. But good kissing is key number one. Like, be a good kisser, and your wife won't complain about your beard as much. They will still complain about it. It's not to insinuate, Scott, that you're not a good kisser. That's my number one pro tip. Number 3 tip, go to plus1exp.com. click on the beard balm selection there, and pick an aroma that you think your wife is going to especially love, so that she just want to get her face up in that beard, like, you know, and then you get to use those kissing skills. So whether you're an expert at it or not, you know, you get to practice a little bit more. On the practice. So, but yeah, we make beard balms, so you can go to plus1exp.com, and they're all inspired by classic tabletop RPG staff. And so, if you want to min-max your way through your day, do a low-key LARP every single day, hit it up. Neon blood. Oh, neon blood. Neon blood. Let's see. I gotta actually make sure that my Tomb of Immolation, I gotta edit the details on there and start popping that bad boy out. Tomb of Immolation is our most recent inventory. Thanks, Scott. I'm glad that was getting yeah. Order some beard balm. I'm a big fan of intelligence. Is one of my two favorite ones. I like intelligence and constitution that I often buff on a given day. There's one called Blood Chrome Neon. It's also from but it's from Zinequest, maybe 1. I mean, that neon blood opening image is pretty killer. Art on this is cool. We're doing an art featurette tomorrow. That's right. Tomorrow we won't be doing normal Zinequest. We'll be doing artisan craft with Lloyd Metcalf.
When playing.
Maybe if you got any other thoughts, got any other questions, beard care, tabletop games, content creation, I'm here for you. Otherwise, we're just going to flow until the end of the song. We'll thank you pretty soon for that music building. Beta Red looks very good. Beta Red, we've got a review coming out. It's already shot in the can and mostly edited, actually. But I think we're gonna either drop it the day before or the day of, one of the two. Scott, actually, just tell me which one you want. If you want it morning of release, or if you want, no, it's on the 8th. Beta Red is on the 8th. All right, that was the end of the song, guys. Michael, I'm going to have your Tomb of Immolation review. It's up. It's live. I'll shoot it over to you, a link. Color in zones. Good, bad. Tell me more about what you want to know about that, Eris. Ninth release date, actually. Keep on moving it back on me. Keep on giving me more time. That's fine. I may have just had the 8th in my brain. You're going for Kickstarter Tuesday. I get it. And so, let's see. I need another video I can pull a little bit of details from. So get a little bit of behind the scenes process here. I am kind of super excited. So inventory management, Tomb of it is one of our new series. For systems we do Too Long Didn't Play. For modules or other tools, we do something called inventory management. Color in zines. Oh, color in zines. Good. I think color in zines is great. Actually, I was looking back at some of the earliest zines earlier today, and other than the ones that, like the produced ones, the published ones that game companies were putting out, they were almost all one color paper right? 2 color prints. And so it was usually black plus an accent color plus whatever color the paper happened to be, which is usually like cream colored. But I actually want to have a conversation at the end of Kickstarter with somebody from Kickstarter about the rules. And I would love to just kind of have a bunch of people show up and say, here's what we like, here's what we would love, here's what we think's working, here's what we think isn't. I don't want to open up the what is a zine conversation necessarily, but I think saying what is Zinequest rules and how do they support a creator, I think that's something that we need to explore just a touch more. And I think that the rules
top role-playing games are often,
I think the rules on that should be better enforced, period. I think Beta Red absolutely should have qualified without them pushing back on Scott as a Zinequest project. It's white, black, and red. I think it's got a great flat color. And so I'm a big fan. But here's my thing. If you want to do a full crazy color one, I do actually think that's fine. I think we should be looking at small, simple, light papercraft. I think having the binding restrictions is fine. I don't actually know that anybody's pushing back on that. Really. I would like stitched as an option, like not just saddle stitch, but actual stitch. And so, no, Eris, don't be worried about that. If people are telling you it's not a zine because it's full color, like, that's dumb. I think it's questionable to say, should it be allowed in Zinequest? And I'm not saying your project shouldn't be. I back plenty of full color projects, and I love them. I did an upgrade. Like, so Beards and Beyond, our zine, like from last year that's going out to people this week. Like, you can look at the cover. These are all browns. So this is one color. It's white and brown, right? But I did different variations of brown. But we did $1,000 stretch goal to get it upgraded to full color. So it is now, like, on the interior, there's these, I mean, we do color pops, right? We've got some pages that are like beautifully full colored. Let me see if I can find our splash image. Like, bam, right? But we did that as a stretch goal. And so, it may be like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I think if we're going to have a thing that we want to create rules around, it's good to have rules. And I think at some point you have to say the rules are the rules, and we either enforce the rules or we don't. I don't care what they are. If the rules end up being like full color, go nuts, gonzo, oh, that's great, right? I love it. If it's, I mean, the reason I'm actually kind of against, going outside of simple binding, which I think staple, which is saddle stitch, or actually like threaded stitch, should both be accepted. I don't think perfect bound is a good option, because I don't like it. Like, I actually thought I would like the perfect bound more because you get a little bit of a spine pop, but it actually feels like a cheaper print option to me. Like, this feels like, okay, they did a staple binding and it's solid. The perfect bound ones, which were supposed to be like our premium version, I don't like as much as I like the staple bound ones. I'm worried the glue is going to come out. And like, that's maybe just me being nervous about my baby, but that's a thing. And so, yeah, Michael, you went full color, but you also did like black and white plus a color. And then and you do like some light blue accents. Like, again, I think it's important to like say like, hey, if they don't enforce the rules, it's irrelevant. Right. And that's my thing. Like, get rid of the rules or enforce the rules. Like, that's kind of the spectrum in which I live in. I want to see either a smart set of rules that embrace creativity, or for rules to be gotten rid of. Because at that point, like, Sentinels RPG is a zine, right? Like, they're full color, like, you know, bound stitching, glue backed, like, huge honking book from Zinequest 1 that shouldn't have been allowed, is a zine if we don't have any rules. Right. And that's what I don't want. Like, I want size to be the do it. I think the idea of being the spirit of early zines, reflecting modern production techniques, really should be what we're aiming for. And I don't think that the current rules reflect that. Cool projects that we'll talk about later that I am excited about, is it just got announced. It's Ether Operatives. It's by World Champ Game Co. They've got a Kickstarter live right now. Babes in the Wood, 2nd edition. That's just finishing up. It's very, very good. But theirs is actually just a folded down, like 17. It's like 12 by 19 poster that gets folded down and becomes zine size. But it's when you folded up. It's a poster, and there's stuff on either side. We're gonna stream it later on this month. It just got announced. I'm very excited about it though, and have been for a while. Because of what the design thing, but I actually like that they're pushing the design. It fits all of the Zinequest requirements. They just took a poster and they folded it down into being a zine. It's what Mousehole Press is doing with Bucket of Bolts or whatever it is, their current one. It's one piece of paper folded down into 16 pages with some other information on the back. I like when people take and operate in those rules and do something phenomenally awesome. And I think I would love to see more of that. I actually kind of love the idea of trying to work with a printer. Philip Reed is doing an accordion book. We had talked about it in our last Prestige class. Last also like only, but you know, whatever. It's an accordion fold out book that there's like 6 sides as one thing and 5 sides as the other thing. That would actually be a zine. And it would fit the Zinequest requirements based on that format, but it's not the format we're seeing. So I want to see people take the rules and then just like wreck shop inside of them. Like that's what I want to see more of. Yeah, I think repurposed images could be fine. I think original art's great too. I think it is about saying for me, it's always going to come down to theme and design meeting each other, right? What is the theme of this? And what is the feel we're going for? And I think repurposed images could be really cool. I think classic black and white line art could be cool. I think that there's a lot of things that could be cool. Right. But it is. But according to the rules of Kickstarter for Zinequest, Accordion Book is a zine. Like, it's a folded piece of paper. It is the right size to be one. And so that's the thing. Like, we're focusing on the big conversation between primarily right now when we're having the dialogue, like color and size. And we've got to get over those for one thing. I do think that the 14-day deadline is the thing for me that really is like, if the goal is 14-day projects, let's do 14-day projects. I like that one. Or if that doesn't matter, let's stop saying it. Like, and so as long as it's RPG related, it's not a 400-page brick of a tome, go for it. Yeah, I mean, I think we might want to set even lower than 400 pages, because I think you can do like, I think 180 pages is the max that you can drive a staple through. And so I think that'd be cool as a limit, right? Like 180 pages. If you can drive a staple through it, which then leads to creativity and how do I drive a staple through my 400-page book, right? Or whatever. And so I just think there's some fun things to be played around with there, and that we need to be having those conversations. And when I asked Kickstarter about the rules coming up, like for the future, their response was they will adjust the rules based on what designers are telling them they need. What I am overwhelmingly hearing in the conversation is designers need clarity around whether or not the rules matter and why the rules matter. And I think that is the thing that we need to go back to Kickstarter games team, who are working hard, who are doing a great job, who I love both of, I wish they had more support, and said, here are the things we're seeing, right? And that's what I think. And so with that said, I don't want to hit the hour mark. I know 11 of you guys have been chilling out here with me, or at least 3 of you, and then 8 others who just walked away from their computers while I continue to talk about the mass. I want to get inventory management review for Tomb of Immolation all knocked out, and get that over to Michael and let him start sharing it all over the place with people, because I got to get those views. It's all about those views. But all right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Oh man, I drifted off center. Don't forget, $28, 28 days. Repugnant RPG, ttrpg.link/gross RPG.